Like when you texted, okay, well, I can't wait for Trump to, I hate him with passion, like with a passion. Like you had, those came out in court, and that's what you thought. But at the same time, you were actively supporting Trump and the whole 2020 election situation. So that's disinformation right there.
You're one of the most annoying people I've ever dealt with.
Tucker Carlson was confronted and called out as a liar during a Q&A section at a Turning Points event. Which, by the way, the fact that he's at a Turning Point event is pretty miraculous given all the drama that's played out recently. Nonetheless, the main question here is, why did Tucker say that he absolutely despises Trump in private messages? And then later, publicly, he said nothing but good things about Trump, in fact, endorsed Trump and donated the maximum amount to his campaign in 2024. Like, why is he lying to the public? That's basically the question being asked here, while telling the truth to people close to him privately. So I thought that was actually an important question, and it was so important that I myself had asked Tucker about it in private. Now, the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because after we watch these clips and after we go through the story, I'm gonna either confirm or maybe not confirm that what Tucker Carlson is saying to this young guy is what he told me when I asked him the same question. So with that in mind, let's get to the text message exchanges that the questioner is asking about. Because this is a story that we obviously covered a few times, because how could we not? It's so juicy, right? Like, what does Tucker actually think about Donald Trump? Because I'll tell you this, when I was in Pennsylvania to debate Ben Shapiro before the Pennsylvania Chamber of Commerce, I can't tell you how many conversations I had with Republicans who loathed Trump. This was during Trump's first term, loathed him, hated him, couldn't stand him. This was during COVID and they felt like he was bungling everything. But every single one of them told me I'd never say that publicly. They're terrified. So is that the case with Tucker Carlson? You're gonna have to wait and see. But here's a taste of some of the text messages. In a text message sent on January 4th, 2021, Carlson wrote, "We are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait." I felt the same way, by the way. I don't know if you guys remember, but by year 4 of Trump's first term, I was just exhausted and bored. I was bored by Trump. Like the same antics, the same drama, the same like incompetent nonsense, the same stories of like the Democratic establishment pulling its hair out. I was just so sick of it. I just wanted anything new. He also said, "I hate him," meaning Trump, passionately. "I can't handle much more of this." Okay, so it's very clear. Again, this is in January of 2021, and that's what the gentleman in the audience is asking about. Let's see how Tucker Carlson responded.
Those are between me and a producer of mine who I really love, who I still am close to. And that was about, it was in January after the election, and Trump was saying, they stole it from me. And I called the White House and I said, I'm totally willing to believe that. And I say to the White House, someone specifically at the White House, give me examples. And he says, I have got a great example for you. I've got 7 or 8 dead people who voted. And the beauty of that claim was it's provable because they're death certificates. And we've got the death certificates and we've got the obits, and they voted, and they're on the voter rolls. We know they voted. Well, I mean, talk about slam dunk. And we put the obits up. Well, within like 25 minutes, a couple of the dead people call CNN to say, we're not dead. And CNN runs this whole thing exposing that I have just like made this colossal error on the air. There's nothing I hate more than being wrong and humiliated like that, because like I have a staff, we should get this right. And I didn't get it right because it's so easy to check whether or not someone has died that I didn't check. And I was enraged.
So is that a good enough excuse, or not even excuse, or explanation for why he sent those text messages to his producer, why he was saying what he was saying? I don't know, that's really up to you to decide. I don't really care that much how he feels about Donald Trump, to be honest with you. I do care if someone is saying one thing privately and then lying to people publicly. And the reason why I ended up going on Tucker Carlson's podcast is because he was willing to have a call with me and answer any question of mine, right? Until I either felt comfortable going on his podcast or just decided, no, I can't do this. I wasn't even the one who came up with the idea to have the call. His producers had been reaching out to me for over a year and a half. I just kept ignoring the emails, didn't plan on ever going on his show. And then this offer to have a conversation privately came up. And I asked the exact same question, because I don't want to sit down and waste any of my time with anyone that I think is bad faith, or anyone I can't have at least a little bit of trust toward, right? If you are lying to people publicly, I have an issue with that. So I asked him the same question, and I was really happy to see he told this guy the exact same thing he told me. And look, I would be really upset too if, let's say, Bernie Sanders, a politician I like, was telling me something, I repeat it on this show, and then I have egg on my face because of what he told me. It ends up to be completely false, untrue, and another news organization is clowning me about it and embarrassing me about it. I would be very upset. So there's that, but I don't think that explains everything. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. Look, I think most people, whether they're on the left or right, don't really like Trump on a personal level. He acts like a child. I'm gonna say something the left's not gonna like. I like manly men. And I don't think Trump acts like a manly man. I think he acts like a little bitch all the time. He whines, he cries, he thinks the world owes him everything. You're the most powerful man in the world. And with that power, all I hear him do is complain incessantly. And to me, that's not what a manly man does. So I think that you can be critical of someone while also giving them credit for things they do right. Marjorie Taylor Greene is another perfect example. The things that she's been saying recently about the affordability crisis Americans are being confronted with is wonderful. And I fully commend her on that. But it depends on the conversation. If you're gonna have a conversation with me about things that she said in the past, let's say her chasing down David Hogg after he witnessed his own classmates get slaughtered by a mass shooter. I didn't like that. And if I were texting a friend about that, I would say some pretty nasty things about what Marjorie Taylor Greene did.
So the other day I got a new mattress. My old mattress sucked. It had all these grooves, you'd fall into them, you couldn't get out. It was a disaster. So I got a Lisa mattress, love it. Finally some peace and rest. So I did their cute little mattress quiz. Even their quizzes are cute. Anyways, it turns out my favorite is a Legend Chill Hybrid. I'm not saying that that's an accurate description of my personality as well. I'm just saying. So I got it, I tried it. There we go. Love it. Now we're getting some peace and rest. You guys gotta check it out. Oh, plus they do really good things in the world. They actually have given away thousands of mattresses to people in need, and they help to clean our oceans. What else do you want? So this is the kind of win-win we love at TYT. Check them out. Go to lisa.com for 20% off, plus get an extra $50 off with promo code TYT. That's exclusive to our viewers. That's LEESA.com, promo code TYT for 20% off, plus an extra $50 off. Support our show and let them know that we sent you after checkout. Lisa.com, promo code TYT.
So I think it really depends on the context, it depends on the situation. And in this particular context, Tucker Carlson was mad because the Trump campaign was lying about how they had evidence of voter fraud. Tucker then aired that evidence of voter fraud, which ended up being totally false. That's embarrassing. You're the most viewed Fox News show at the time, the top rated cable news show, period, at the time. Yeah, it's super embarrassing. I would say negative things about Trump too, and his campaign, if I were in his shoes. But he did say some pretty negative things very soon after Election Day, and none of the other stuff happened. Like none of the election fraud claims, none of the, hey, we have evidence, we're gonna give you false information, you're gonna broadcast and embarrass you. None of that had happened yet. So I think when you look at some of the other text messages, some of the other thoughts that he had, like for instance, let's go to this message from November 6th of 2020, soon after the election. He's texting with Alex Pfeiffer, who I believe is his producer. Trump has a pretty low rate at success in his business ventures. And Tucker Carlson tells the truth, that's for sure. All of them fail. What he's good at is destroying things. He's the undisputed world champion of that. True. True. I can't disagree with that. Now, if you want to have the president's ear, are you going to openly go around and talk about what a failure he was in his multiple businesses and his multiple bankruptcies? Probably not. Probably not. But I think it's okay. It's okay to be critical of Trump, whether it's privately or publicly. But I think we don't need to be children about this, right? I think we all speak about things and people a little differently when we're under the impression that we're having a private conversation with someone. But I think it would actually suit Trump. It would actually benefit the Trump administration if there were more on the right, more people on the right who were willing to criticize him or be critical of what he's been up to. And to Tucker Carlson's credit, he has been on the issues that matter the most. When it comes to Israel and Gaza, I mean, he is one of the most outspoken critics of the White House's foreign policy. When it came to bombing Iran's nuclear sites, Tucker Carlson was the most vociferous on the right. He pushed back against the Trump administration considering doing that. Now, unfortunately, the Trump administration decided to do that anyway. I say unfortunately because that could have dragged us into a larger, terrible war with Iran. And the only reason why it didn't is because Iran showed restraint and didn't retaliate the way you would expect them to retaliate. When you hit up the Americans and let them know, hey, we're gonna do some strikes on your military bases. We're gonna give your soldiers some time to evacuate before we do it so no one gets hurt. Yeah, that's not really retaliation. That's just a way to signal to your people, yeah, I retaliated. We did what we needed to do. We're not weak. Anyway, but what he said on that stage was almost word for word what he told me privately. So he's at least consistent with his explanation for why he messaged those things. But at the end of the day, Tucker's statements about Trump in these messages, I totally agree with. He should say them more often, strategically, of course, in public.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.